Okay, we're live.
All right, welcome to the Special Events Advisory Committee for Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, sorry. Consistent with the Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort has been made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. All right, so Joanne tells us we have a quorum, so let's get to our first agenda item, which would be the approval of the minutes from January 6th. Has everybody reviewed those minutes? Any comments or questions or corrections to those minutes? Not seeing any. Motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Chad made a motion. Could we have a second on that?
Second.
All right, we have a motion. We have it seconded. Roll call vote, Joanne, please.
Okay, so Tom Sayers,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry App,
Yes.
Joanne Sinos, yes, Brian Mulman,
Yes.
Chad Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, did I miss anybody yet? Okay. Oh. I'm going to bring Sal in, sorry. The motion passes to accept the minute.
All right. Give a second for Sal to get in.
Okay,
Joanne, can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Beautiful. Welcome, Sal. Sal's now
Thank you.
with us. So we'll go to our first event today, which is a special event 22-12, request to hold the Cape Ann Farmers Markets on Thursdays from June 2nd, 2022 through October 13th, 2022 at Stage Fort Park. I believe Courtney's here for the Cape Ann Farmers Market. You want to give us an overview of what's happening? I believe we're changing location again this year, right?
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much. So the application you have in front of you reflects a return back to Stage Fort Park, where we were located from 2010 to 2019. I think most of you remember, due to the COVID pandemic, the past 2 years have been a disruption in our normal services. So 2019, we held the drive-through market over at O'Malley, and then we were asked by the city to move to Harbor Loop last summer. And we were in contact with Jill Cahill, and also we met with Mayor Verga in December, and they were both supportive of us moving back to Stageport, barring any interruptions from DPW landscaping plans. So that's what I have in front of you. The site map that you have is reflective of the same setup that we had used for all those years.
All right, I'm just trying to pull it up on my computer. It's not coming up for some reason. There it is. Lose me, Joanne, or did I change the page?
I still see you.
Somehow I kind of got lost. I'm on launch. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening to me. But anyways. Anybody have any questions? We asked us to come back because they're relocating again to a new location, which is an old location. So does anybody on the board have any questions concerning the new location, the old location? No questions? Nothing? Nobody has any concerns? Time, location, everything's fine?
I don't have concerns so much as I talked with Joe Lucido, and Courtney, if you can meet with us at some point before we open up, just to look at some alternative sites if we need to do landscape work around the gazebo. I think we'll start out like right where it was before, and my guess is you'll be there for the summer. But in the event that something changes, we had a couple alternative proposals. We just wanted to kind of run those by you beforehand so we don't get ourselves caught off guard if something comes up midsummer.
Yeah.
So, maybe once the
Absolutely.
snow clears out of here, we can meet down there and look at a couple spots with you. And I don't want to catch you off guard this summer.
Yeah,
Try to
that
have
would
it
be
as-
great.
Try to have it as interruption free as we can.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
What's going to happen with parking, Mark?
There will be no change. They'll park where they have been parking.
I mean, for people attending it, are they still going to be charged?
We will
parking?
I got to talk to the administration on that and see what their thoughts are. In the past, we've shut the booth down at like 3 o'clock. So I'll check with Jill and Greg and see if they want to continue to do that.
Okay. All right. So in the past, we just shut the whole parking lot. We stopped collecting at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, because it was too difficult to figure out who was there for the farmer's market and who was there not for the farmer's market.
Right. And DPW can do that? I mean, it doesn't need to go to council or anything to do that, does it?
No,
Okay. Just want to make sure we got it covered. All right. Any other questions for anybody? All right, not seeing any. Can we entertain a motion?
Make a motion to accept special event permit 22-12 to hold the Cape Ann Farmers Market on Thursdays from June 2nd through October 13th, 2022 at Stage Fort Park.
There a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Joanne, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Tom Sayers,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
Yes.
Joanne Sinos, yes, Brian Newman,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald, talk. Joe Fitz-
sorry.
That's okay. Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
motion passes to approve the Cape Ann Farmers Market at Stage 4 Park.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Courtney, good luck and have a good year.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Through inspectional services, we'll be through a few times just checking things out. But no,
Perfect.
it's fine, so good luck and have a good year.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
You're
everyone.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move on to our next event, which is the special event 2213. Request to hold the Blackburn Brew Fest on September 17th, 2022. Rain date of September 18th, 2022 at Stage 4 Park. And who's here for that?
Hi, Sarah Bowen with the Chamber.
Hi, Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I noticed there was two of you. Did the other half of you leave?
The other is my counterpart, Ken Real.
Okay. You want to give us a rundown to what's going on and what's happening?
Yeah, so this is still high level. We're still in the early planning stages of this, but the Chamber, we're in our 100th year. And our board president, Caitlin Pizzeni of Cape Ann Lanes, she's our youngest board president. And so we wanted to combine efforts with our Next Gen committee in putting together a celebration. So we thought a brew fest was a great way. It's been an idea for quite some time now, and it's something that's coming to fruition now with our 100 years young is our slogan. So we were hoping to host this at Stage Fort, maybe roughly 30 to 35 breweries or brew vendors. So September 17th is the date that we've slated for. We're hoping for around 1,000 folks to attend. It would be admittance to the event. We pre-sell tickets.
It's for 35 breweries? 35, I was heard?
It's what we're hoping for.
I'm gonna have a hard time getting through 35, but I bet I can make it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good celebration if we can.
Sounds like a
afford
good
it.
time. Yes, it does.
Yeah, so it'd be limited hours too. I think on the application you see it's 1 to 4. So, and we're hoping to have some live entertainment, not sure exactly who yet. Again, it's so high level, but maybe some acoustic. We're not sure, but that's
Okay,
kind of
so
the
not
top
sure.
level plan.
Payment of that stuff's not sure yet. What was the time again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
1 to 4.
1 to 4, okay.
Yeah.
And Mark, you've approved the location for this one? I know there was some controversy on it at first, right?
Yeah, no, the location's fine. We switched the dates, that's all.
Okay, all right. Any comments, any questions for anybody?
I have a question. On your application, you have estimated attendees. Now you bumped it up to 1,000. So how many people will be working your event? Was that 1,000 just estimated people selling tickets, or does that include the people working your event?
So that's a good question, Joanne. We've actually been in touch with a lot of our members who are brewers, and have a lot of good conversations, have had a lot of good conversations with them. And even just a conversation today, they advise that we're going to have more than that initial number that I presented on the application, which we totally understand. I mean, we wanted to walk before we ran with this event. Ideally, we'd like it to become an annual event. But we started smaller, but just based on our conversation today, even we thought, well, let's shoot for higher number. And then if it's less, it's less, but we wanted to get approved for a larger number of attendees.
Okay. Do you want me to make that adjustment on your application?
Please.
Okay.
I've been trying to pull my applications up online and then I haven't had much luck yet today, so I apologize. The site plan, is this going to be fenced in area? How are we controlling crowds with alcohol?
Yep. So we will have barriers, which will request further guidance with the licensing board about what they require, but we will have barriers. And it will be a 21+ event.
Joe, my question is, in the past, we've talked 2 different ways. It used to be corrals to have people serving. 35 different breweries is a little hard to corral. Is that a problem with people walking around with alcohol, or is that changed now?
So I had spoken with Sarah last week about this and what the ABCC may require, and they don't really offer a lot of guidance other than the separation between the general public and the where the people will be consuming alcohol. And they even go as far as say it can be a rope or a fence. So there's really no strong guidance as to what it has to be. I suggested something like the snow fence that I've seen some vendors use in the past would probably be adequate with 1 or 2 egresses or exit areas for that area, but they do have to be contained in that area.
Okay, and it's not a problem that they're walking from vendor to vendor? And
no, I don't think so. I think that would be a little silly if we had to corral off each individual brewery.
Yeah. I know in the past we've talked about the difference between contain, usually when there's only one facility for serving alcohol, to contain them in a corral or to allow them to walk around. And I believe a couple of the chiefs in the past have suggested they prefer they allowed to walk around because they tend to sit in the corral and drink too fast and to get around, or double fisting them and stuff. So
well, the regulations I read doesn't really allow for that. There needs to be some separation between where the general public is and the people that are consuming alcohol. So maybe if it was in a few different groups, maybe 5 or 6 breweries corralled in an area and in several corrals, and that the way it's set up, that may be a thought.
okay, so do we want to re-look at how they're set up, or we're fine with what they're set up with?
I'd have to take a look at that again.
Okay, so
But I can work with the chamber and set it up. I'll talk to the chief and have a conversation between now and then, And if there's any amendments that need to be made, we can address that.
Okay, all right, fine. And I believe you will have to go before the licensing board for a one-day liquor license for this event, right?
We will. Mhm.
I'm sure they're gonna want more detail as to what we just talked about too, how they're gonna be separated crowd or whatever they have to do for that. Yeah.
I also spoke with our representative on the liquor board and kind of ran this by him. So we're all on the same page. So we can all communicate together.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Perfect. Yep, excellent. Thanks, Joe. Any other comments or questions on this?
Yeah, I just
Hey,
want to make
Sarah.
sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The food vendors, we need to get a list of those, make sure that they're all permitted with us as well.
Yes, I did want to speak to you, Brian, because we're considering having a few food trucks as well. So perhaps we can talk offline about
Yep.
what you require from me, but that is something we're intending.
No, but we have plenty of time.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Sarah, this is Sal. I think this is a great idea in knowing the chamber's commitment to local business. I'm assuming that any vendor opportunities that are available will be promoted locally to our local businesses in Gloucester and Cape Ann in general, to try to see if they could take advantage of this great event. Is that correct?
Yes. So right now we're talking to a lot of our members who are brewers to get their perspective on this and just feedback, since they've attended many of these style events. And so we do want to put a heavy focus on the greater Cape Ann community, but we are extending it beyond that to get the 35,
Sure, yeah,
so
understandable.
vendors. So we'll be, reaching out into the greater North Shore community. Some folks have ideas for breweries in Boston, New Hampshire, even Maine. So we're open, but we are putting a heavy focus on the greater Cape Ann community.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions, comments?
Yes, I have my hand raised, Bill.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it, Joanne. I apologize.
Okay. All right, Sarah, can you reconfirm that the games are just lawn games, okay? And that you're only gonna have food and alcohol, and you're not gonna have any non-food or alcohol vendors? Just say like T-shirts or anything, is that correct? Or is that undecided at this time?
That's correct. A little undecided in terms of what will allow the vendors. Like if a brewery wanted to sell their own T-shirts or something like that, or koozies, that's for consideration. Or if we wanted to maybe make some merchandise for the event. But again, this is so high level right now that we haven't made any decisions.
Okay, so once you make that decision, you can just reach out to me.
Okay.
And I can advise you whether they need a transient vendor permit or not.
Okay.
Sometimes what we do is if they're part of the festival and they're selling like food or alcohol, once they get that permit, then after we kind of tend not to go into the transient vendor, but we'll just decide that when the time comes.
Sounds good.
I'm wondering if we maybe should redo this, reschedule this, just to, when she has some final details, so we all know what the detailed plans are. I don't think anybody's objected to anything, and I'm not sure if anybody wants you to come back. But I just, seems to be a lot of open ends that we don't know about at this point. And I'm just not sure I'm satisfied enough with it to say, okay, well, we don't know what all the answers are. I mean, I'm in favor of the event, obviously. But I don't know if we have enough information to approve it now. What does the rest of the committee think?
I think we should go ahead and approve it so they can get to work on securing people for that date. If, I know it's a long ways out. She still has to go in front of a couple other boards to get approval as well. So I think being the first stop so she can set up P&D and the alcohol so she can move forward. That'd be my recommendation.
Any other comments on that?
Yeah, I like the comment. It's like, they don't have to go to P&D, but they do need the licensing board. And what I usually do is that even though everyone has commented and gone through the process, is that I don't release the final permit until everything is in order, where the licensing board is all set. And if anybody has any questions, like the food vendors or my question. So I usually keep track of that, and I won't release the final permit until everything is satisfied, all the conditions. So you can go ahead and approve it up to that point. And it's going to stop anyway when it gets to the licensing board. I won't be able to do the final approval unless the licensing board puts it in there that they've been approved and what the conditions are.
That's helpful to know, Joanne, only because our team, we were waiting for this committee's approval before going to the licensing board, so we'll do that.
Okay.
Any
I have
other
a question, Bill.
Excuse me?
Hi, question from Tom's Fire Department.
Yep.
Sarah, so you're gonna sell tickets to the event, and then you're thinking around 1,000 people may be attending?
Yes.
Is that, okay. So I'll have to check with the chief, but we may need crowd, I mean, that's a lot of people in
Yeah.
alcohol. It might be a crowd control situation also. We might need to hire details and, you know, a crowd manager at least, especially if there's entertainment and same with, but I believe that'll get through the licensing board. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes.
Okay, all right, then when that gets there, we'll talk about it then. All right, thank you.
Okay. And perhaps we can talk offline to Tom about just the exact layout. I want to make sure that it meets your requirements, to be able to,
Yeah,
God forbid, get trucks through if need be. So I want to make sure that we're in line on your end.
yeah, and we're gonna have to make sure there's enough exits and
Yeah.
such like that, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That all being said, any more comments or questions on it? And maybe we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve special event 22-13 to hold the Blackburn Brew Fest on September 17th, 2022, with a rain date of September 18th, 2022 at Stage Fort Park.
Second,
Okay. A further comment? Roll call vote.
Tom Sayers,
yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
yes,
Joanne Sinos, yes, Brian Mulman. Brian still with us? No? I don't see him. Okay. Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Sal DiStefano.
Yes,
Motion passes 8 in favor and 1 absent.
Hey, thank you, everybody. We're so excited.
You're welcome.
Sounds great.
It's gonna be a great event. We're excited because I don't think one's been held here before, so it's gonna be wonderful.
It certainly is. All right, thank you very much. Our next item, agenda item is the approval of the consent agenda for the following special events approval through Viewpoint. Has everybody reviewed all the permits that are going to get approved? Do we need to go through any, name any, do anything special, or? Nobody has any comments? I'll take a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda.
All right. I just want to make a comment that last night at P&D, they approved the St. Peter's Fiesta to be held at St. Peter's Park. And at 1:30 today, I had a licensing commission meeting to approve the amusements for the St. Peter's Fiesta. So this is the last piece for them for approval.
Okay. Any other comments?
Bill, I have one comment. It looks like the last event, the Waterfront Festival, I believe it's number 22-15, not 25, just so for our records. We don't want to go up to 25 yet.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. I was searching for it. I'm like, the number doesn't exist.
I try. I look at this agenda over
You
and
did
over.
great. It took me a while to figure out. I'm like, I couldn't understand why I couldn't find the waterfront. I said, I know it was there.
Good catch. Any other comments, corrections?
We need to, I know we have the consent agenda, but do you think we should mention what the consent agenda is? I mean, the events, just read the events off,
If you think we need to,
listening and watching, because they're not gonna know.
okay. So
I mean,
special
I'm just
event,
asking the consensus of the committee.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
I was just asking, and then we would get a consensus from the committee. I know this was to do a consent agenda to make it quicker, so we didn't have to go through the whole thing. Saying,
Is there anybody on from any of these events?
yes,
Do they have any questions for us? Since we made them come here.
I didn't make them come, okay? What I said is that it's going to be approved and they can like log on and listen. So,
So they're both named Lisa.
Lisa.
Do either of Lisa's have any comments to add to their events? Raise your hand if you do. Not seeing them raise their hands, so I guess they're satisfied with what they have out there. That's the only two I see that would be here for them, right?
yeah, I think it's because of the, let's see, the 11th annual Coast to Cure event, because that was the date that was conflicting with the Brewfest.
Yes.
So I think we're all settled on that, and I think they're just attending just to make sure everything goes through.
Okay, so I guess there's no further comment from any attendees. Unless the board feels we need to read each one, I think we can just take them as one item.
Yes,
Okay, I hear a motion to approve it.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the events that were previously approved through Viewpoint online permitting.
Second,
Can we just add to that, Chad, and were found by the committee that no, they didn't need to appear at the meeting?
Okay. I will amend my motion to approve the consent agenda for the special events that were approved through Viewpoint online permitting, and there was not need for those persons to be here at the meeting.
Thank you.
second,
Any other comments, questions? Can we have a roll call vote, please, Joanne?
Tom Sayles,
yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt, Barry,
Can hear you, Barry.
Muted.
He said yes. I just
Yes.
heard him.
Well, they can't get the button to work right.
There you go.
Joanne Sinos, yes, Brian Newman,
Yes.
Ed Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Sal DiStefano.
Yes.
The motion passes for the consent agenda as presented.
All right, that ends everything on our agenda. The one thing I wanted to bring up today had to do with people on the calendar. Me and Joanne were talking, and I think what our consensus was, and we want to make sure the rest of the committee agrees. People who have consecutively for the last 5 years held a date, an event on a certain date, should have priority over a new event. Anybody have any comments on that? Anybody wants to discuss that? You know, we've run across the problems of the chamber, which, you know, obviously has a lot of people involved in it, a lot of authority and they come in and want a date that somebody else has been using for 5 years, and I'm only using them as an example, but I don't think it's right to bump somebody who normally has always expected to have that date and to get bumped out just because somebody else wanted it and may not have applied for it first. So I think, I think our suggestion was that anybody who has had an event and used the same date for the last 5 years or so consistently, that they would have first priority to that date, even if somebody came and put an event in prior to them, that we would give them the first option on that date. Any comments on that? Questions?
That's only if it's on a conflicted area, like using Stage Fort Park or, two
Yes.
road races running the same route. Other than that, I mean, there's times that we do have a couple events on the same day.
Right, no, it's events that would be at the same location, right? So one event trying to bump out another event.
Yeah, I think we should give preference to events that have been there in the past. I mean, it'd be no different than somebody trying to book the Waterfront Festival weekend at Stage Fort.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. If somebody comes in and wants to push out the Waterfront Festival or something like that. So with the committee's agreement, I guess we'll make that a policy if that's what we can do so. That anybody who has, I use 5 years because we have people who might pop up 1 year and not come back again, and we don't know. The problem I see though is, and it's probably, I don't know how we work it out, but is somebody comes in and wants a date for, like, say, the Labor Day weekend, and they want to take the same date if somebody else has been running that for 10 years, but we haven't heard from them yet. How do we deal with that?
Right.
Yeah, reach out and give them a deadline. You have so many weeks to get to us.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I suppose we can do that, huh? I bet we can do that, Joanne, through Viewpoint.
I don't know if we can, but I mean, I don't want to have the responsibility of reaching out to someone to see if they're going to have their annual event.
Or can we
Right.
set a policy where they have to, 6 months prior to their event, they have to inform if we're gonna hold the event again this year, and if they don't, the date opens up to the public?
That could be an idea. We could work out something like that, that everybody lets us know whether they're ready to attend a meeting or not. They can just tell us they're expecting to use that date, and we can hold it for them.
The problem with dates is it's not so much exact dates, like the St. Peter's Fiesta is the last days in
I
June.
understand, yeah,
Sometimes that's pushed, a little bit each way.
right.
So to tie hard to a date, I understand the idea of it is, you're typically on the third Saturday every year, Stage Fort Park. It's kind of taken. I mean, we have an idea of that. I don't know if someone could make a calendar up saying, hey, these are the events that happened this year. When someone comes in with a new event, you can look at the calendar and say, hey, just so you know, if the Brewfest comes back next year, it's, it'll have priority.
We do have the calendar. We do make a calendar up that has all the events on it, so it wouldn't be too hard to check that out. It's just a matter of who's going to take care of that responsibility.
But the calendar we have, Bill, is when an application comes in. The application doesn't come in, we don't have a calendar that will show a question mark about annual events.
No, but we would have last year's calendar, right?
Yeah, you can go back to last year's and reference that one, yes.
Right, and just reference, who was on, who had that event that weekend.
And I can put a calendar together for Stage Fort Park. Because most of the big events there, they're on the same, like Chad said, it's the third weekend in August is this event, the second weekend in July is this event. And the road races, especially the You Can Run and a couple of the other ones, they're pretty much on the same weekends. And I can put something together that's tentative so that if somebody does ask for a date, we can always look at that and say, well, in the past, this event has gone on, and we can make an effort to I don't think we're gonna have to reach out too much. I don't think it's gonna happen too much, but I mean, anything at Stage Fort or anything like that, I can reach out to the events that have been there and see if they're coming back or not.
All right, if you can do that, that's a start, and then we can work from there. I'm just trying to avoid this problem from popping up again when it pops up. Well, at least we could say, we talked about it, and this is the policy on how to deal with it. Just consistency, be consistent all the time.
Bill, this is Sal, my only suggestion is, instead of putting the onus on this committee or Joanne, maybe put it on the annual event holder to tell us in advance. And if there's two competing dates, let's say for the two different organizations, preference will be given to the repeat annual event. Because otherwise what I could see is just like you said earlier, you don't hear from somebody for months and all of a sudden it's on us to remember that particular event ran every weekend. I mean, that could be a lot for this committee, but I could see a policy in place where if there's two simultaneous applications, there's preference for the event that's been held for 5 or more years. Just thinking in advance, trying to make it easy on everybody here, because I don't want the responsibility to be on this committee to just remember everybody's event. But I hear what you're saying. And if there's two competing, events that definitely the repeat one should get preference. That's just my 2 cents.
Right, I think that's a good point, Sal. I'm just thinking, and it's easy if we have 2 of them who are applying at the same time or about the same time. The problem is we have somebody who's, ahead of their game, way up in their planning, and they come to us in January. And the person who repeats every year doesn't show up to June for their September meeting event. We can't go back and say, well,
Sure.
the person just came in June and they do this every week and you got to reschedule your event. With everything that goes into planning for events and advertising and dates and stuff. I mean, that's just, that's the problem that I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
How we be fair. Right?
I maybe put it on the annual event holder saying, we're putting forth this policy, but you have to let us know, put the responsibility on them. Again, I think I just don't want extra problems created for this group. And based on experience, when we would do the seafood show, you would get to have your same booth every year, but there was a deadline to let them know and put a deposit down. Otherwise, it was free for the taking. So we always had to make early commitments. This is pre-COVID, of course, but pre-commitments and signed contracts to get that same booth. Otherwise, it was up for grabs. But the responsibility was on us. It wasn't on the show organizer. They gave us a date and we went forward. But anyways, I'm new to the committee, but I just don't want to see this group, getting hot water with an organization because something slipped through the cracks. That's it.
Right. How about if we all give us some thought over it and we can discuss it again next meeting and see if we can come up with some good solutions. I think Max has a great little solution and offer there to at least, that's where most of our big events are going to be, is taking up Stage Fort Park, and that'd be a big help. And maybe we can put our minds together and come up with a policy that'll cover everybody with the least amount of problems for everybody. All right. Any other questions, subjects, any other things anybody wants to bring up?
I just want to bring up something. I want to ask Mark. I got CC'd on an email about using the Talbot Rink for an event. That doesn't have to go through special events, does it? Because isn't the rink separate from any other of these events?
Well, the rink is run by the city. But it doesn't, I don't know that, I wouldn't think we would want to have to bring everything that goes on at the rink to special events.
Okay, because he forwarded me the email.
Yeah, I've been in touch with him. We're still trying to figure out if it's something we want to do or not.
Okay, well, I just didn't know whether, because I didn't want to respond to him and say, you had to come to special events, and he just says, I want to keep you informed, and I don't know why I was why he felt I needed to be informed if it didn't have to go through special events. That's all.
Okay. I'll reach out to him again.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Not seeing any. I can accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Seconded.
fine. Joanne, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Tom Sayers,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Epp. Barry,
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't hear my name. Yep.
okay. Joanne Sinos, yes. Brian Newman,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
and Sal Stefano.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.
Hey, Mark, can I connect with you on the phone after this call?
Sure.
All right, I'll call you right now. Thanks.
All right.